Well, that's APC's recent or latest position on what transpired, how the leaders of the National Assembly emerged. We continue our focus on that matter today. We'll be going over to our studios in Abuja, where we're joined by Oladimeji Fabiyi, who is a member of the APC. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, the party insists on sanctioning those members. Several newspapers have got different kinds of headlines about what the party has said and how they intend to do it. What do you think of this? I mean, many wonder whether or not this is the way to go.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Morning for. First and foremost, I would like to say that I want to thank Mr. President for showing commitment to our democracy. Again, I want to thank him for sending a signal that I'm a president of rule of law. Again, I want to thank him for showing that he's a true party man. He has taken a position, he has made a statement, and I think that statement settles it all. I say this because everything that happened at National Assembly, there was no iota of violation or single violation of the Constitution, and that settles everything. Yes, the leadership of the party may be aggrieved, and some members of the party, eminent members of the party, may also be aggrieved. There are internal mechanisms with which to solve these problems and their grievances. For me, I don't see anything too serious because, in those days, if there's any problem in the PDP, they say it's a family affairs. I see this as a purely family affairs that will be settled amicably, bearing in mind that the bigger picture here is Nigeria and not any single individual. Again, I want to say this is the first test case for the APC as a party, and again, for Mr. President. But to me, Mr. President has passed his own test. It's now for the party to live up to his own obligation and do the needful. Yes, if you want to sanction the earning members, there are mechanisms in the party constitution, disciplinary measures, but to what extent, are these offenses? So, and I think we leave that to the party to actually decide. For me, in a country where there are rules, where there are laws, I think they must be duly followed. Yeah, when you talk about party supremacy, I'm an advocate of party supremacy. I remember I stood for election some time ago, and one of my cardinal view was party supremacy.
Your party has said, they set out, they made their intentions known concerning the leadership of the National Assembly. You also have heard the recent comments by them, how they intend to also correct this. They think it's unacceptable. But how could you then say that, look, you think everything is okay? That's not the position of the party.
Well, the party leadership has every right. It depends on the way the angle which they're looking at. But the truth of the matter is that Senator Bukola Saraki has emerged, and it has emerged under a free and fair process. It was everywhere. It was being monitored all over the world. So, and the party is true. The party may have a position, and these people may have taken another position. It still doesn't change the fact that Senator Bukola Saraki and Dogara has emerged under a free, fair, and constitutionally provided process. So it doesn't undermine that.
Is there a crack in the party? Because as we speak now, the APC chairman in his home state, that is Kwara State, is saying the Senate President's election is totally in order, while we're getting a different vibe from the national leadership.
See, the truth of the matter is that there is nothing. There is nothing that is inappropriate in the election of Bukola Saraki, and I'm saying this with all sense of responsibility. When you look at the processes that brought about his ascension into power, now there was a letter of proclamation that was sent by Mr. President to the clerk, and that says that exactly 10 o'clock the process must commence, the business of the inauguration must commence, which the clerk has on that must comply with, because it is the directive of the CNC, and that happens. And again, the numbers of people, the number of members who were at the National Assembly, who were at the chambers at that time, were even more than the number of quorum that were more than the number required to form a quorum. So I don't see anything that is inappropriate in this. And but the party, as I said, have it depends on the way they view it, it depends on the way they see it. But by and large, I don't think there is going to be any issue. This will be adequately, settled and managed. And I don't see what happened at the National Assembly as something to spite the party. It's not like that. It was just what I call is a kind of democratic revolution against imposition, against godfatherism, and this will certainly ensure the independence of the legislature. And we truly need this at this point in time. Mr. President has said he will be ready to work with anyone who emerges as a leader of these two houses. And these two gentlemen has emerged. So we have to stand by that. The party, if party truly agrees that Mr. President is leader of the party, then everybody must be on the same page with Mr. President. We have huge challenges ahead of us as a nation. And I think we should be busy with that. The other group, that is the Lawan group, so I'm sure they know all this. You know that the bigger picture is Nigeria. And that is what should be paramount in their mind.
Did you see that letter?
I said, Mr. President.
The letter you spoke about that was transmitted to the clerk of the House, you saw it?
But it was there. The clerk of the House read it. It was there. The clerk of the this is the clerk of the National Assembly read it. And
was
said
there,
this was because
Mr.
President was not around, and he knew he may not be. He knew because he was away in Germany on official function, and he knew probably he may not be able to. He may not be around at that time when the business of inauguration likely commenced. So he transmitted a letter to the.
Did you also get information that there was a plan initially to request perhaps a shift or movement and the time of commencement of that meeting to accommodate the meeting that was supposed to hold before the inauguration? Oh, they have lost him.
I guess we lost the connection on that.
Well, clearly, you heard his opinion because the party has spoken up about how they intend to go about this. Several papers talking about APC leaders, governors disagree over National Assembly. Different groups speaking up in the light of what has happened
I
in the National Assembly.
Your question was totally in order. It would be nice for us to have a look at that letter, the alleged letter, knowing that there's also an argument against that he flouted the instruction of the president. So knowing the content of that letter would let Nigerians know if he went overboard, he went ahead on his own to conduct that particular inauguration.
All right, let us get back to Oladimeji Fabiyi speaking to us from our studios in Abuja. We were talking about a certain letter. There were those who had said, look, there was a letter that was written to request a shift in the time that the inauguration was going to happen in order to accommodate the meeting that the APC was going to hold. Was there any such thing? Did you hear about it?
No, I am not. I don't know. I'm not aware of any letter, but I think I read in one of the papers where the secretary of the party was talking about a letter was sent to the National Assembly to shift the. For me, as a party member, I think I don't know that my party has the right to stop or to, I don't know whether my party has, the right to do that. And if Mr. President has transmitted a letter of proclamation that a program should commence, a national program, a constitutional program, should commence at so time, and then I really want to say in what capacity. It's not only APC affairs.
I mean, you holding this view, and many others haven't heard the view of some of the members of the party, will readily just come to the conclusion that it certainly does look as if all members of the party are not on the same page on this one.
No, I see this is what I call democracy in progress. That is it. In our democracy, in any democratic setting, all these things are bound to happen. You are bound to see shifts in ground. You are bound to see all sorts of things happening in our democracy. So purely democracy in progress.
You know, Dimeji, you've talked about democracy, and a lot of people say that one of the beauties of democracy is that, you know, it's about numbers. Majority will always have its way, you know, where you have a standpoint and you're not able to muster the numbers, then, you know, there's nothing anybody can do about that. But one of the things why it's supposed to be beautiful is that democracy is about people having, majority having its way and minority having their say. Can you, in all honesty, say in this one that minority, which is what you most likely may be referring to by saying that the Constitution was followed, the minority had its say?
Really, for me, in this matter, it's really not the issue of maybe a minority having the say. For me, and I say this because we have 108 members of the Senate. And at that inauguration, about 58 or thereabouts were there at the inauguration of Senator Bukola Saraki, which was even more than the number required to form a quorum. That's number one. Number two, if you look critically,
I think we lost the sound of what Dimeji is saying, but we'll sort that out, and then we'll get back to you in a moment, so don't go away.